I'm really excited today to bring to you a very close friend of mine, Anna Vega, who I have had the privilege of knowing for quite some time now. And I mean, I'll let her tell the story, but I just want to tell all of you that have the opportunity to share time with Anna today, maybe for the first time, pay attention, take notes. Tony Robbins teaches us that modeling is the pathway to success. So pay really close attention to what she says and look for opportunities where you can model success in order to get the same results that Anna has got. And I know she'll share with you that she's not finished yet, that she's still building her empire, and she's looking for that next opportunity to model greatness in order to take her journey as far as she can go. So let's just go ahead and get started. Anna, if you would take yourself off mute and just say hi to me and we'll get started.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for having me. I'm so honored to be part of this meeting today, and I hope to join you even more often.
Yes, that's so awesome. So let's start with just tell us a little bit more about you, your journey, your real estate journey, where you are today, and how did you get here?
Absolutely. So I am, I've been in the business for 13 years, but I didn't get into the business until probably 15 years on my journey. I actually started here as an immigrant. I arrived to the United States in May of 1999 with $300 in my pocket. That's all I had. I spent the first 7 months of my life homeless. I didn't have a place to live. I used to buy Domino's pizza on Tuesdays because they were $5. And I remember that I would buy the pie and I will make it last all week. That was the only meal that I could have. Or I will buy a Subway footlong, and then that will be my breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 3-4 days, as far as I could make it last. I started working from the real bottom. I mean, anywhere from cleaning to babysitting to cooking to becoming a waitress to 6 years later, building a career in corporate America in marketing and public relations, where I was managing marketing communications for Fortune 500 companies throughout the world. And I started building my path like that. I had my first experience with real estate back in 2004 when I decided that I really wanted to be a homeowner, and I went door knocking and in a neighborhood that I knew I could afford at the time, and found someone that was interested in selling, and I went online, pulled up a contract that I found on Google and made them an offer, and we were under contract. I didn't have any guidance whatsoever on home inspections or anything like that, but I had an amazing seller who did have experience with, selling real estate before. So I was very fortunate, and that they never took advantage of me. They were, they taught me what I didn't know. I didn't know any better. I just wanted a house. I didn't care about anything else. However, that taught me that if I wanted to pursue buying more property, I definitely needed a realtor. In 2010, I lived in Miami back in the day, and in 2010, I created this campaign for on water conservation for elementary schools in Broward County. And the people in the water department, they were so impressed that they actually launched this statewide. And the city of Tampa was actually looking at that point for someone who joined their communications department. So we were thinking already, exploring moving to Tampa. There were things in my personal life that were happening, and we really wanted to move this way. And this kind of seemed like the perfect opportunity. So we planned everything. And then in June 2010, I arrived in Tampa, not knowing that we were actually just starting to economy was just coming to downturn, and everybody was freezing hiring at the moment. So I arrived here and my husband and I were like, well, you know what? It doesn't matter. We got to go and work. So we cut grass. There were a lot of REOs, so we did property maintenance. We went and checked on property, did inspections to make sure that, the ceilings were not falling apart and they had not been vandalized or whatever it is that we needed to do for banks at that point. Cleaning properties. I mean, our first investment was a vacuum and a pressure washing machine so that we could go vacuum. There is a generator because these houses that we were dealing with, they didn't have any utilities. So we had to bring water and a generator for us to, clean properties and whatever. So we did whatever it needs to do. 2011, we bought our home here in Tampa, and it was so challenging. I mean, it was 2011. You were fighting with banks. It was just horrible. And we bought this house through an auction. We didn't learn that we had won the auction until like 5 days later from someone from Pakistan sent us a message. It was just horrible experience in the sense that once I finished that transaction, I'm like, if I was able to survive this whole ordeal, imagine how many people I could help, navigating this process, because it wasn't easy. Nobody knew about REOs or bidding in auctions or dealing with contracts, title companies out of Georgia, listing agents that were not in this town, that they never pick up the phone. It was just, and then of course, lenders that had all these new stipulations and regulations and things like that. So finishing that experience said, you know what, Anna, you're a problem solver. That's my nature. And I'm a producer. I make things happen. How many people could I help in this journey? So I put a plan into motion and got my real estate license, and have been doing it for 13 years now. So very exciting.
Let's start where you left off. First of all, what an inspiring story. I mean, I've known you for
10 years.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought. And I think I heard things today that I didn't even know. And just awesome. So inspiring. So let's go. Let's pick up where you left off. You got your real estate license, you got into the real estate business.
Yes.
And, just like all real estate agents, I'm sure you got in with expectations, right? And what were the first couple of years like?
So I had two things on my favor. Well, three things of my favor. One, a huge desire to succeed. And that has been my motto in everything I do. It doesn't matter the challenge, I'm always stepping up. So as hard as it could be, because it was very hard, and I'll be sharing that in a little bit, I knew exactly where I wanted to be. So despite of the challenges, I was there. Focus, number one. Number two, I was hungry. I quit my corporate job. I did not want any distractions. I was fully focused on real estate. I thought that I was prepared. People told me, oh, your first paycheck is going to come like your first 6 months. I mean, this is 2011 we're talking about. This is where the market is tough. Mm-hmm. And they're like, well, your first check is going to come like in 6 months. I said, okay, I'll put 6 months of savings. But I didn't know that, once joining, I had to pay association fees, dues, and all of these things. So my savings were not 6 months anymore. They were kind of limited, but I was determined. And number three, there was no plan B. This was it. So I was completely committed to making it work. And as soon as I joined, I remember that, I was hosting my first open house within a week. I actually put my first contract on the second week in the business, but it was a short sale. I had no idea when it was closing. And, but anyway, I had a contract on the board. About 2 months later, I put no, not 2 months later, a month later, that was kind of October. I put another contract on the board. It was new construction. They're closing until the next year. So December comes and we're literally, my husband and I, we're literally opening, like we have piggy banks. And we were opening the piggy bank to buy milk and eggs. You know, like our meals were pasta and tuna fish. Like that's what my kids and I were eating, or peanut butter and jelly, because we couldn't afford anything else at the moment. I mean, we wanted to make sure that our mortgage was paid and our bills were paid, and whatever else we could, we could eat. We had a collection of lighters, and we actually even sold them. I had jewelry, I sold it, like anything that we could do to continue thriving, because we were not giving up, whatever we could do. And God is a provider, he always is. And coming December, I mean, it was about 2 weeks prior to Christmas, I got a call about a listing that the group that I was with had listed in Trinity in Fox Hollow. And I went to meet them, and this was an Egyptian family, and they wanted to buy the house cash, closing in 2 weeks. I was super excited, but they came in and they lowballed like $100,000 under. So they, of course, the sellers were not going to take the offer. However, I stayed in touch with them, and we continued talking. And at the end of the day, I actually ended up closing that deal and got my first paycheck December 21st of that year. And as soon as I got that paycheck, I had Christmas for my kiddos. I took my kiddos to buy kits for kids that were not going to have, Christmas that year. And we sponsored 10 families. And then we made the rest last until we were having the next closing, which, by the way, actually ended up coming the end of that week, because on December 30th, I got a call from the bank saying the short sale was ready to close. And my guy was in Brazil. He was Brazilian. He was in Brazil, and we had to go through so many hoops to make it work, but we did. We actually ended up closing that deal December 31st. So I had a second paycheck, and then third paycheck came in, and on new construction in March, and I just made it last. I was working with leads, and then within the next 6 months, I actually became Rookie of the Year for Coldwell Banker on my first year of real estate.
Wow, that's amazing. So let's fast forward, and we'll go back again. I just want to fast forward to today. Tell us, what does your real estate business look like today?
So first, I'm still in love with real estate, and I am fascinated by it because I was able to explore different venues of real estate. My husband is an architect, and we are dreamers. And one of the things that we always dreamed of putting this together, even when we were cleaning houses together and, mowing lawns together, we always dream about flipping properties and becoming and building communities. And fast forward, 13 years later, this is exactly what we're doing. We flip, we buy investment properties. We became general contractors. We're building communities, and we have a team in real estate, and that's what we do right now.
I love that. Yeah, and Anna, so just a very specific question: what's your production look like over the last 12 months?
I sell in real estate personally anywhere between 15 to 20 million a year, but that's the seller real estate. There's another side of my business that is the investments and the flipping, and
Yeah. So you've built a massively successful business, both as a realtor, as an investor, and in a relatively short period of time compared to what most people do. And I see that Tyler has his hand up, and I definitely want everybody to be able to ask a question. So if it's okay with you, Anna, we'll pause. I still have a few more questions for you, but let's go to Tyler P. And Tyler, talk to us.
All right, interesting question. So let's talk like around 2010 prior, right? Homeless, cleaning houses, mowing lawn, whatever you got to do. What is your mindset at that point?
Mhm.
Are you just literally living day by day, or are you like, do you have a plan in place, or are things just coming and you're like, oh, let me try this or let me do that and let me do that, and then it just all worked out?
A good question.
Combination of everything. A combination of everything. I've always been a very positive, happy individual.
Mm,
And I've always, all of my life, have always been looking forward to the future and with a plan. So I'm the type of person that does vision boards. I read, I write my goals, I write, everything that I want to do and want to accomplish. It's written, it's envisioned. I do my meditations. Yes. However, when you are moving forward, there's always curveballs that are being thrown at you, and you always have to adapt. So do I let them, knock me down? Could be, but I stand up. How long am I going to stay in that state? And there's been several situations in my life. One happened when I was about 16 years old. The other one was about 26. And then another one around 36, 37. It kind of happens every 10 years. There's always this big shift in my life that it just changes direction and everything. It changes my mindset. I have to go through, through this process. There was also a lot of healing involved because I was in this boom, 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 make it happen. I mean, I was working 2 jobs. I was going to school full time. I had a daughter. I had a home, a relationship that all of that had to take care of. And I was not taking care of myself. So I was angry. I was just too focused on work, that I was missing the big picture of what was happening around me. And I thought that I was doing all of this because of the future of my daughter, because I'm doing this to, just be better for me, for the community. And in fact, I was just doing what I was doing to prove, like my wine that time was just to prove everyone that didn't believe in me. I was just wanted to prove them wrong. Like it was just, that was driving me. And so my mindset in that time, in that period, had to do a lot with proving myself. Then it just started changing as I grew and understood that there were just bigger things and a higher purpose involved. But that just comes with, with the ups, with the downs, with the process.
Love that. Anna, one of the things that you've heard me say before, and everyone here has heard me say, focus on the activities, not the results. So it's the daily activities that we do consistently with commitment that lead to the success that we enjoy, right? So tell us, what does a normal workday look like for you? What is it that you do that leads to success?
So I'm an early riser. I'm up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I do my meditations, kind of set up my mindset for the day. And then I immediately enjoy my time of quietness to start working, looking at the property, like set up my searches for my clients, respond to my emails. I'm one of those persons that at 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm scheduling the text messages for the day, the emails for the day. So if you get an email from me at 8 o'clock in the morning, most likely I wrote it at 5 o'clock in the morning and it's just being scheduled. So everything between 4 and 7, everything it's like scheduled at that time. Then it's time with my kids, getting them ready for school or, summer camp, whatever it is. So we have an activity, activities between 7 and 9, dropping off kids, husband goes one way, I got the other. And then by 9 o'clock in the morning, I'm back in the office, already working on my lead generation, making my phone calls, reaching out to my database. That's my lead generation. Partner up with my, discuss with my assistant what we're gonna be doing for the day in terms of sending, cards. I'm a person that sends a lot of personal cards. So we set up the cards that we're sending for the day, the posts that we're gonna be doing for social media. So all of that happens within the time of activity. And then the afternoon is for appointments. And that's that's how I handle my appointments until, right now, where I am in my career, it's a little bit different when it comes to setting up my appointments until late in the day. But when I started in this business, actually not until not so long ago, and I'm probably I think I stopped being this crazy about 3 years ago, 3 years ago. But my day could easily start at, in Spring Hill, and then I will be showing property in Spring Hill, Newport Richie, Clearwater, St. Pete, go the way to Lakeland, Plant City, Dade City, and end up in Wesley Chapel. That's what a day looked like for me. And I don't do that anymore because I learned leverage. It took me a while, but that was a typical day for me. And then I will come back home, and then I'll be working until 1 o'clock in the morning, putting contracts together and things like that. So again, until I learned leverage about 3 years ago, that I really learned to let go and just work on my team. Then at that moment, but that's what I did. That's what a day looked like for me.
Love that. All right, guys, just checking in with you, letting you know it's 9:26 and I have a hard stop at 9:29. So if you've got a question, raise your hand. One more question for me. What motivates you?
My family. It's been a journey, and my purpose right now is my family. And when I'm talking about family, I live in a property with 9 people. We live 9 of us. So it's my mom, my dad, my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, our 3 kids, and my husband and I, and we have 7 chickens. And this is like the Encanto family. And we live all together. It's been a huge process of forgiveness, of healing. And because I've been through that process, this is my purpose. Is making sure that we're all good.
Love that. All right, so we've got two hands up. I think that's going to be it for time that we have, guys. Boy, this went fast, didn't it? Ariana and Manuel, you're on deck.
Yes, just a quick question. When the first 2 years of your business, when you started as a realtor, what did you concentrate to getting leads as a new agent? The first 2 or 3 years of your business?
Absolutely. So I saw a huge need on first-time home buyers. So what I did is that with my first paycheck, that one that I got that December, on January, I actually invested in CLO. Nobody was doing CLO back in the day. I bought 2 zip codes, and I only pay $135, and I own like 50% of those 2 zip codes. And I started getting calls of people asking about down payment assistance and grants for first-time home buyers. And as much as I asked, I understood that nobody knew about it. So I took it upon myself to learn, and I started calling all the counties, all the cities. And then I actually became one of the first PASCO. There's a program that is called the Neighborhood Stabilization Assistance, the POP program. And I remember that I used to go with my table, I will buy a box of chocolate, like a bag of chocolates, and they will have first-time home buyers seminars all Tuesdays or Thursdays or Mondays and Wednesdays. And I will pay $25, have my table there set up, and I will sit through all of these home buyer courses and then develop relationships with all of these home buyers. So my first leads came from first-time home buyers. So now I learned the PASCO program. I went ahead and learned City of Tampa program. It took me about maybe 6 months, 7 months in the process for me to become not an expert, but one of the few people that knew and understood where to go to this program. So that was one of the things that I did. The other thing that I did, I started doing developing relationships with new construction. So I visited new construction communities, and I will bring donuts or cupcakes or whatever to the new sales consultants. So I will develop those relationships. Well, guess what? When someone show up there and they needed to sell a townhome, imagine what business card or a house, which business cards they were sharing with the potential leads, my business card. So that was a lead source that I did. And then the other thing is my other investment is I invested in door hangers. So I went to the community. My husband helped me with that. He will pack the door hangers in his bag, and then we will drop off door hangers, promoting the down payment assistance program, sellers, all of that. So my first listings actually came from those door hangers. One community, I landed 3 listings from door hangers. And and then again, having communications, talking to people, knocking on doors, that was, that's what I did. So there was no plan B except hustling and doing everything that I had to do. And in that process, as I'm searching on Facebook, who I need to be, because remember, I moved here to Tampa. My network was in Miami. I didn't have anyone here. So one of the first things that I did is I went on Facebook to see like who's who. And I started befriending people that I wanted to be, surrounded with, learn from. And in one of these searches, I learned about the Deeds team. And I see this guy who is doing videos with for sale for sale by owners, and he's taping himself, recording himself on the phone and making these calls. And I'm like, oh, who is this person? So here I am, started watching his videos, I started learning from him, and yeah, the rest is history.
Thank you.
Well done. Okay, Manuel. Anna, I hate to do this to you, but you got 60 seconds to answer this question.
Real simple, Anna. One thing, congratulations on your success and your drive and your determination. I heard you say a few times that you learned to use leverage. What do you mean by leverage?
I mean, using the resources of talented people that I was surrounded by. So showing assistant, my buyer's agents. I started to using the people that were around me that I had trained, that knew exactly how to do it, and I knew exactly how they were going to do it. Those were the people that I started utilizing so that I could focus on growing the business.
There you go.
All right, thank you very much.
All of you, give it up for Anna. That was amazing, amazing, and amazing. Thank you for changing lives today. We appreciate you. All of you, make it a great day. I will see you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Go get it.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Rock star. Well done, Anna.